So this is your method for investigating Rarir's past?
Good deduction. But it's quite a different affair from what you're used to with the Frost Moon.
Whoa, first time I've ever been in here. Boss always said it was off limits, so I pictured some I guess this must be Sumero decor? That's where Boss is from. And that nice shopkeeper who sold me my treasure compass.
I'm not sure exactly what you've got planned, but it looks like you're all set.
Whenever we wish. But for some reason, I've got a feeling this isn't going to end. I've never faced Rarir myself, but from what you've told me, his power is beyond anything I could imagine. I, on the other hand, am just an ordinary businesswoman. Our paths should never have crossed, yet here I am, forced to make an enemy of him.
If you ask me, you're about as far from ordinary as it gets. So what are you saying?
Once I take a job, there's no backing out. Still, I have to ask myself if the power I'm relying on will even work on an opponent, and also how to make sure I come out of this alive if things spiral out of control. Death is the one thing we can take for granted. It is the great equalizer, however fortunate or unfortunate we may otherwise be. So it's important to consider how to spend what lifespan we have left.
Come on, boss. Lighten up. Quit talking about death.
For once, I agree with you. When you're up against a foe like Rarir, there's no such thing as Is there anything I can do to help?
That won't be necessary. I've already made up my mind. Time to cash in a precious favor I've been saving for a rainy day. Yehoda, I need you to find someone.
Find who?
That shady merchant who sold you an overpriced treasure compass the other day.
Come on, boss. You're pulling my leg again. In what way is she shady? She showed up. Anyway, I know who you're talking about. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. I genuinely can't run any further.
Hey, aren't you?
What is it? What's the big rush? You dragged me out of a dream where I was literally swimming in Mora. I'm charging double my usual attendance fee. See, look how easygoing she is. After that rude awakening, she could have completely snapped at us. But instead...
Dori Sangama Bay? I never would have pictured you two doing business.
If you want to make it big and not cry, it's all about connections. Lady Nefer just so happens to have a lot of intel that interests me. And it was back when I first arrived in Not Cry. My trusty assistant, the genie in my lamp, had an adverse reaction to the Kuvaki, and wouldn't you know it, that's when I suddenly find myself in a life or death situation. Good thing my compatriot was there to swoop it. I've been giving her a 30% discount off all of my bids ever since. Now, so that no one here feels left out, plus any other friends you send my way, will enjoy 10% off. What can I say? The great Lord Sangama Bay is nothing, if not. So, let me guess, you've run into some trouble. I've got everything you could possibly need, and...
You guessed correctly. What have you got in the way of
The one type of gear I've never been short on. What are you looking for? A jetpack fresh from the Academia's labs? And at the very least, I need to know what kind of opponent we're dealing with here. If even you're worried about staying alive, it must be pretty...
What if I told you it's someone with the power to bring a nation to its knees?
Is that so? Then we really are talking top-shelf treasures.
Your supply?
A powerful woman, make no mistake. I can't reveal her identity, but luckily for you, I hear she's planned. If you're willing to wait, I can ask her when she's here. Can't say exactly how long that...
Then, let me put it another way. What would you do if you encountered an enemy like that?
Of course not. I have a handy little trinket from one of my generous suppliers, which... Hold on. What exactly are you getting at? No, this is for my personal use only!
Let's just say I'm borrowing it, all right? Just for insurance purposes. Favors are the worst kind of debt to owe, and now you've got a chance to repay one. A win-win situation.
Fine. You can borrow it for 5 days. No, make that 3. And for every extra hour after that, I'm charging you 1,000,000 more. Deal?
Deal.
What a way to start the day. Now, was there anything else you wanted? Or can I go back to bed now?
That will be all. Take care now. Don't trip up on your way back.
See you later! You're my favorite shopkeeper.
Excellent. Everything is well and truly ready. The ceremony can now... After initiating the ceremony, your minds will follow me wherever I go. You will see many strange... So remember, don't be frightened. Now then, let us peer into the Raker of Solnari's past. I made it. I don't recognize this style of architecture. Must be simple furnishings, table and chairs. It's a more ordinary house than I might have expected. Looks like the fearsome Raker of Solnari came from surprisingly... Unless this passed for luxury in Conria. Unlikely. It was said to be a very Anyway.
Hi, Rarir. Since you're working extra hours tonight, I thought I'd keep myself busy by checking out that new kebab shop. I've heard good things about their menu. I'll test it out, and if it's as good as everyone's saying, let's go back together sometime. P.S. New stash from the Universitas Magistrorum. I brought some goodies home. A few teacups and a pin rack.
They didn't sign their name, but they must have been close. Sounds like they were living together.
I went over to Joseph's for drinks today. They have a fine collection, but I went alone. Felindus was tied up with some. Joseph asked why I came alone, but I didn't really have an answer. He then went on to ask about other things. If you ask me, someone who asks that many personal... if he invites me again, chances...
Felindus. That's the same name Ririr.
Crane imports keep falling. If things don't pick up, we'll soon be back to meat and mushrooms only. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of that new type of mushroom everyone's been into lately. Didn't it start out as a lab-grown variety? I heard it's even mildly corrosive. Seriously, what? I don't care if it's an impressive feat of alchemy. That just isn't the kind of thing I like.
Grain has to be imported, and they're eating a diet of mostly meat and mushrooms. Could it be because Conria is underground, so it doesn't get much sun? That would explain why they use so much stone in their buildings. They even use alchemically modified strains for food. Seems like the people of Conria don't have many options when it comes to dining.
I've just about saved up enough now. Time to buy it and keep it somewhere safe.
Making a big purchase. He really is a professional. No wonder he's so good at covering his... Despite what he's become, it seems like he's retained certain habits, at least in this regard. Did Riri rip it out himself?
Before I met you, I was convinced that my heart was nothing more than the burial place of a fallen moon. A withered, windless grove where the waters rested. It was you who helped me see that my heart hadn't entirely withered away.
This is just trivial sentimentality from the looks of it. Why would he go to the trouble of the burial place of a fallen moon?
Ririr, over here.
Dane! Oh, and, Vesseln here?
Hello there, Ririr. You need not address me so formally outside of court. He doesn't get that much free time, so I invited him over for a drink. Even the court prophet deserves a break every night.
Well, I'm flattered.
So, what are we discussing?
Hey, don't look at me. As far as I see it...
Come on, don't give us that. Didn't you say you were about to pop the big...
Who'd have thought the great Twilight Sword wasn't even...
I just didn't expect you to be the first one to settle down and get married, that's all.
Yeah. If you told me that a few years ago, I wouldn't have believed you either.
So, are you planning to come clean about your job then? I'm guessing you still haven't told?
Sure, I'll have to tell her at some point. But I'll need to pick the right time and place.
Come on, stop being such a pessimist. For all you know, she could be thrilled. I bet she'll be much more impressed by your actual job. A member of the King's Guard. Quite the cover story. Does the king himself even know?
Of course he does. Anyway, enough about me. How have you been?
Me? Same old, nothing much to... Huh? What's up, Ved?
It's nothing.
Vadafilnir, Dainsleif's elder brother. Renowned throughout the court of Conria as the Visionary. And said to possess a wisdom far beyond the reach of any ordinary man. And yet, despite the gulf between us, he seems to have something to say about me. Does he even know me? Does he see me as a friend of his brother, or just another of the Vinster King? Why did he react so strongly? Was it really to do...
Brown, curly hair and brooding blue eyes. So this is what Riri looked like back in the day. Perfectly normal, no different from anyone else. As frightening as this monster is in the present, there's...
Felindus, you're back early.
Our equipment's being serviced today, so I got off earlier than usual. How's your... Aw, why the long face? Is something the matter? How's your...
Went for a drink with Dane and the others after work.
Isn't that a good thing?
Vedafilnir showed up today too. You know, Dainsleif's older brother.
Ah, Mr. Vedafilnir. Yes, I've heard of him. They say that
He overheard Dainsleif mention that I'd recently proposed and seemed to have an issue with it. But when I asked what it was, he...
So, you're worried? You can be such a child sometimes, Rivier. We're nobodies. Why would the Visionary be concerned about us? I'm sure someone in his position has much bigger fish to fry.
Maybe you're right.
You worry too much, Rivier. We've been together for ages now, and everything's been going so well, has it not?
So, you do remember.
Like I said, I need some time to decide. You can't just rush into things like this. We may be nobodies in the grand scheme of things.
All right. Take your time. Just don't keep me waiting forever. Nobodies. Sounds about right. In the eyes of people like Battlefront and Dick, can someone whose gaze is so fixed on the far-flung future even see the present clearly? Besides, the dynasty's fate rests with the king and his inner circle. Whatever I do, it won't make much difference. Meanwhile, every idea they come up with and every decision they make, it affects everything. These days, the king is lost in his research, and the purge of the Crimson Moon, the opposition tried to speak out, but nothing came of it. I'm under no illusions as to why. Because a man can have 1,000 reasons to carry a sword, but there are few good excuses to use it. Yet the king has never even considered a gentler approach. And what becomes of someone who kills on another's behalf? Can he ever find... Thalindis? It's nothing. You were right. Fate has never smiled upon. No, there's no reason we can't keep living happily together, cherishing the simple joys of each day.
See? You just need to stay positive, Rivier. I can feel your warmth, your breath. You're right there, right by my side. Just seeing you makes me happy in a way I can't explain, and that's something that no one could ever take away from me. So smile, my love. Let go of that frown.
You're right, Thalindis. I've just been...
That's better. Getting caught up about things like this will only ruin our evening. Speaking of which, all set for the ball tonight? I need to go get ready.
You go ahead. I just have a few things to take care of, then I'll come join you.
Even busier than the big shots, huh? Fine, I'll go get started. But don't be late. If you keep me waiting too long, I won't be...
Relax. Seriously, though, you drive a hard bargain. You're really gonna leave my proposal hanging and still expect me to take you to the ball?
Well, that goes without saying. I already told everyone I'd be... Besides, they're two completely different things. Let's take it one thing at a time, all right?
All right. White outfit it is.
It seems like Rivier was deliberately hiding his ties to the intelligence services by giving the impression that he was just an ordinary... He clearly doesn't want his would-be fiancé to know about his other life. Then again, that's hardly surprising. Who'd have thought we were in the same line of work? Let's dig a little deeper.
Our last operation was a resounding success, and all thanks to you, Rayhir of Solnari. In total, we apprehended 30...
After all these years since the dynasty's fall, so many of them still linger on.
Indeed, cannot be denied. Yet it was destiny that the Crimson Moon should be overcome by the eclipse, and that His Majesty, the all-seeing Vinster King, Conria, has no further need for a dead moon. But alas, there will always be those who
That's not entirely true. Much about the Crimson Moon era was worthy of remembrance, and that's exactly why they keep trying to see it restored. Many of its secrets remain unsolved to this day. As it happens, that's precisely the field of study my partner is devoted to.
You still haven't told her what you really do for a living.
Where would I even start? How do you tell someone that you're one of the king's hand-picked executioners? That your hands are steeped in blood?
You didn't choose this life, any more than I did. Orphans like us don't get a say.
But I'll sure as heck be the one to pay for it. Speaking of which, we need to be more rigorous in the way we identify direct descendants of the Crimson. Someone, it seems, has strong opinions about my future plans. Most likely my marriage in particular. I have a feeling that we may soon become targets of the...
Your concerns are not unfounded. They've taken out many of our colleagues these past few years, and for that very reason. These are no helpless lambs we're leading to the slaughter. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. Take care, Rayhir of Solnari. I look forward to toasting you at your wedding.
Thanks, Thorkel. Thalindis, I never wanted to keep this from you. You're the last person I would ever want to lie to. But that's exactly why I can't tell you everything. There are things you shouldn't. The moonlit dynasties are a thing of the past. Yet even now, with the sun shining high in the sky, there are those who would call forth a dead moon's ghost. Could that be why Vedalfnir held back? Or was it because of some court secret he's not at liberty to share? I have to get a clear answer from him. No matter what happens, I will.
Rivier seems to be very concerned by Vedalfnir's reaction. Vedalfnir and Dainsleif, the Visionary and Twilight Sword. I've investigated this whole area now. There doesn't seem to be... Should I try somewhere else? Wait a second. What's this black...
So, he's late after all. Just you wait, Rivier.
Are you waiting for someone, ma'am? Could I tempt you into buying some...
Oh, sure. Pick me out a pretty...
Thank you. But I'm afraid none of them are as pretty as you.
For someone so young,
I'm only telling the truth. Look me in the eyes. You'll see I'm not lying.
You're...
May we have a word in private?
Who are you? And what do you want?
It doesn't matter who I am. Too many of her kind have fallen lately, so I decided to take the risk of reaching out. Not long ago, the Rehir Solnari led an assault on one of our strongholds. We suffered many casualties, and many who came to our aid lost their lives.
Sorry, I don't know why you're telling me this. And I don't want...
Wait, hear me out. This time we finally got a clear look at his face and learned his name is Rehir, and he claims to be one of the King's guards.
What did you...
A cruel irony, isn't it? The man you're set to marry leads a double life as a brutal executioner. But sure.
Why are you telling me...
Simple.
How strange. Rehir was nowhere to be seen in that memory. It clearly, Rehir couldn't possibly know what happened if he wasn't even there. Why would her memories appear in his fragment? The ceremony won't last much longer. I think it's time to call it a day.
So that was your doing? Did you just pull us inside Rehir's...
Any more questions, and I'll have to start charging.
I had no idea you could do that, boss! Seriously, that was amazing! We're not worthy. I gotta admit, though, I'm itching to see what happens next. Feels like...
I'm just as curious as you are, but the ceremony only allows for limited time inside. Luckily, we managed to learn quite a lot.
So far, so good. I just hope the others are doing okay too. Especially the group with the Traveler. Their mission is a risky...
If you're worried about them, go see how they're doing.
if I know boss, she's gonna need some time to write up all the details and make sure it's all coherent. I'll stay behind to lend a hand.
Fire. Fire? Wait, what's that smell? Oh no, there's a fire!
Centurion was right. You look weak, Columbina. The old you would never have let such lowly creatures bar your way. Word has it that you did something for the Tsaritsa, and that's why you've lost most of your power. Freedom comes at a heavy price, doesn't it?
It's Arlecchino! You came!
Hello again, Columbina. And greetings, guests of the House of the Hearth.
It's been a while, Arlecchino. Stupid Rehir, stupid Solnari. Whatever, I got all the data I need. He sure doesn't pull his punches.
Excuse me, do you...
You can do me a favor by staying out of my way. Can't you... Wait a minute.
Hello, Miss Sandrone. Father sent us over to help.
How considerate of her. Hey, Fremine, get over here and help me fix this. Lenny, you do your thing. Just keep your sister away from my machines. Nearly every machine that cat girl touches ends up going haywire. Go put her on cleaning duty or something.
Then let's start downstairs. Fremine, we'll leave this place to you. You've got it.
Wait a second. Pretty sure there's still some tea in the cupboard. If you want some, you'll have to make it yourselves.
It's a relief to see you all made it back in one piece.
Huh? Feels like there's quite a few people missing. Where's Flint's and
I returned ahead of them. Flint is helping Ino and Nefa to set up the decoys and buy some time. As for Miss Nefer,
Boss is still wrapping things up on her end. She sent us back to fill you all in on the top secret intel we've been
I
gathering.
see. Then let's get right into it. But first, who do we have here? You brought someone else in to help?
Greetings. I was invited here to help as a longtime Tea Party companion of Columbina's. You may call me Arlecchino.
Surely it can't be.
Those eyes. Oh, where have I seen them before?
The only Arlecchino I know is the fourth of the Fatui Harbingers. So either you share a pretty uncommon name.
You are well informed, Grandmaster. A man from Mondstadt living all the way out here in Nodcry, and yet the people and affairs of Snezhnaya.
Oh, the feeling's mutual. Sounds like you know all about who I am.
A Fatui Harbinger.
The atmosphere in here just got really tense. Guess we can't just start trusting Fatui Harbingers, even at a time like this.
I must admit, though, I'm a little curious. Seeing as the moon goddess no longer belongs to the Fatui, what...
Nor does Nodcry belong to Mondstadt, Mr. Varka. Yet, things don't always have to have a tangible payoff. Sometimes, stopping things from spiraling out of control is a higher priority than chasing the spoils of victory. Of course, I can't say there's nothing in it for me at all, but that's between Columbina and myself.
Forgive me, I don't mean to doubt you. It's just that the Fatui really have been... We have our own way of doing things here in Nacrai. But ever since they arrived,
I know there's been a lot of bad blood between us in the past. I've done my utmost to avoid friction whenever I could. But sometimes fundamental conflicts of interest simply can't be settled amicably. That's why I'm here solely in a personal capacity. This has nothing to do with the Fatui. As a gesture of good faith, I'll be frank. I can help Columbina track down the iridescent moon's marrow, which will help her restore more of her power. Anyway, what else is on the agenda? Let's begin.
She says she'll be frank, then completely skips over the details. Looks like she doesn't want to give away too many secrets after all. But she clearly wants to change the subject. It'd be awkward if I tried to bring it up again now. I guess we'll just have to go along with it. She's the fourth of the Fatui Harbingers after all. One look.
Well, since Miss Arlecchino sounds confident in her ability to handle that, we'll proceed to the next topic.
All right, listen up, everyone. First, we now know that Rerir was originally a Conrian secret agent whose primary mission was to hunt down...
The dregs of the Crimson Moon.
In the memories, there was a lot of talk about the Crimson Moon and Eclipse, and a whole bunch of other stuff in the time.
To my knowledge, those were the names of two different Conrian dynasties long, long ago. It is said that the people of Conria worshipped the Crimson Moon, drawing a mysterious power from its reflection. But one day, a coup saw the Crimson Moon eclipsed, hence the name of the new dynasty that replaced it, and how it became the new emblem of Conria.
Still, long after the Crimson Moon dynasty had fallen, the last ruler of the Eclipse dynasty, the Vinster king, still coveted the secrets it left behind. So, he sent the Rehir of Solnari to secret. In those days, Rerir showed no signs of madness. In fact, he was as normal as any other person. Oh, and he had a fiancé. What's the matter?
Stephanie, granddaughter.
Interesting. Anything else? What?
Well, she was a researcher at the Universitas Magistrorum, but it felt...
Oh, and one more thing. For some reason, Rerir's fragment also contains some of the Lindis.
Well, no shortage of potential leads, I'll give you that. In any case, it sounds like we can conclude that while the Lindis was still around, the Lindis, it seems, must have been the one thing in this world that he couldn't let go of. Tell me, though.
Why do you need to know that? Hold on. If she was a pure blood Conrian... Oh yeah, just like how it was with the cat. If we could somehow find her, do you think there's any chance...
It's possible, but it would take a miracle. We can't pin all our hopes on that. That merchant who never knows, Dori Sangama Bay. Maybe we could hire her to look into it.
All right, then. Let's keep working our separate teams. Traveler, Paimon, Kutar, and Miss Arlecchino will go look for the iridescent moon. As for the others...
On the way over here, I noticed that the wild hunt monsters had grown even more frenzied in their search for Kutar. At this rate, the people living here will be in grave danger too. So I'm thinking of gathering together some of our followers.
I'll head back to the curatorium and meet up with the boss.
Feels good knowing we've all got something to be getting on with. Given that the wild hunt has been a lot more active lately, the Lightkeepers have likely begun their own operations too. I'll hold the fort for now, then discuss our next move with Flint's, Ino, and Nefa when they get back.
All right then.
Well, the clock's ticking. If that's everything, we'll be on.
We better get moving too. We'll try to buy you as much time as we can.
Relax, just do your thing. I decided to call in some backup since things are getting so hairy. Stay safe, everyone. Dismiss.
We're back. Did we get here?
A tad late. The others have already set off. To summarize, our resident moon got everything going smoothly on your end?
Not great. I don't know how long we can stall him for. The decoys are getting taken out way fast. I'm gonna make some more later, but I need a timeout first. I'm so tired right now. Oh, right. Nefa, could you fill in Uncle...
Sure. Uncle Varka, you previously told us about how when you went to investigate a source of the wild hunt in Amsvartnir, but according to Flint's intel, several outbreaks of the wild hunt had already occurred in Notcry in the period leading up to that. That was before Rerir had regained his body, when he was far from regaining his full strength. In other words, in theory...
Flint's, with everything that's been happening, the Lightkeepers across Notcry are rallying to fight back against the... I know, I'm sure you're capable of coming up with something far more effective than decoys. But for now, you should stay here and get some rest. And F and I will head back over to Amsvartnir to see if there's anything I missed.
I told you Uncle Varka would say that, didn't I? A deal's a deal. Not a word about my snack intake.
Database updated. Reliability of Ino's predictions increased.
What is...
They were betting on how you'd respond after hearing their intel.
It's the obvious choice, isn't it? It's hardly worth betting on.
We already decided that Nefa should go investigate the situation over at Amsvartnir on her own. Someone needs to hang back and oversee our strategy meetings. And besides, you still haven't fully recovered from ambushing Rerir.
So I've ended up with the easiest assignment. Well, I appreciate...
This will serve as a good spot to cross.
Hold on a second. Since you brought us all this way, we still haven't got the slightest idea what's going on here. And if even Columbina doesn't know where the iridescent moon's marrow is...
Simple. Because I am an inheritor of the royal bloodline of the Crimson Moon, and one of the last surviving embers.
Huh? Are you serious? Isn't you're a descendant of that Crimson Moon dynasty we were just talking about?
Your surprise is understandable. I was also taken aback when I first learned of it. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized the signs had been there all along. When I was young, I discovered I could wield a very special kind of fire. It coursed like blood through my veins and smoldered away inside my nerves. What's more, whenever I experienced strong bursts of emotion or drew too deeply on this power, it was like some kind of presence within the fire would begin to gnaw away at me, consuming. Exactly. That is why my hands are like this too. At first I saw it only as a curse, but once I became a harbinger, the jester apprised me of the truth. Together with my own investigations over the past few years, there are several things that I have granted. For instance, take the so-called Crimson Moon. In truth, it is nothing more than the shattered remnants of the iridescent moon, fused with the abyss to prolong. Since this blood flame was bestowed upon me by the Crimson Moon, it is a fusion of the iridescent moon's former power and the corruption of the abyss. You all understand the nature of the abyss well enough. I draw upon its power, and in return, it hungers for my soul. This strange blackness is the mark of corruption it has left.
If I recall correctly, you once told me that if the corruption ever made it to your heart, you'd become a complete...
Yes, and that's the reason I'm always careful not to push my power too far. It's essentially a never-ending...
Sounds intense.
Anyway, the rest of my story can wait. Is there anything else about the Crimson Moon or the Iridescent Moon that you are unclear?
Paimon has a question. Conrians used to worship was actually the iridescent moon, right? Does that mean that the Conrians were to the Crimson Moon as the Frost Moon Scions are to the Frost Moon?
So much of that history has been lost. We have no way of knowing exactly what they were. But I would suspect that the Conrians weren't as devout in their moon worship as it might appear. The iridescent moon's remains simply served as their later on. Perhaps someone discovered a way to make direct contact with the Abyss. Or maybe there was some kind of ideological divide. Either way, a dissenting faction staged a coup and drove out the royal heirs of the Crimson Moon dynasty. Still, even with the dark sun looming high overhead, the Crimson Moon's glow never truly faded. If you want living proof.
The first time we met, I sensed something familiar when I looked at you. I felt I could see that mysterious red moon in the corner of my eye. In your flames, I saw its broken
Well, I appreciate that you kept it to yourself. Much about the Crimson Moon is still a mystery, and I'd prefer not to end up as the object. Anyway, time is against us here, so if there's any other questions, they'll have to wait. I just want to make sure I've got one thing straight. In her letter, Sandrone mentioned that since you are unable to contain the iridescent moon's marrow yourself.
That's right. For now, it's the iridescent moon is already part of who you are. So with its marrow in your possession.
Deal. Then let's get started.
Yep, what started? What does this place have to do?
When I first became a Harbinger, the Jester gave me a book called Parenheri, also known as Leobranto Inamorato. You should be able to buy a copy next time you're in Fontaine. It's a love story set in the Crimson Moon era, but setting aside the tangled romances of its characters, it also records a few interesting... In the Crimson Moon era, or so the story goes, there was an orphanage that received children from beyond the bounds of this world, and subjected them to a peculiar induction ceremony.
On the bounds of this world? For real? And what kind of induction ceremony?
The Crimson Moon sages looked beyond this world for beings with powers that surpassed the gods. But fearing they might lose control, they subjected these children to a process of... They made these children crawl up a fireplace and kept asking them, "Have you died? Did you see it?" Until they finally admitted to having died and seen a crimson... The adults embraced the children who passed the ritual, telling them, "Within the fireplace you have The book leaves much unsaid. But I suspect that this was their way of branding the children they had enrolled, leaving an indelible mark upon them.
That explains why I can't sense the Crimson Moon's marrow in this world. It makes sense that it would be sealed in a special space that can only be accessed temporarily.
There's no fireplace here! Do you see a chimney anywhere? Oh, are we supposed to build it ourselves? Okay, fine.
That won't be necessary. The fireplace is purely symbolic. The key to the ritual is crossing the flames between two worlds. Those burned away by such flames leave behind a kind of ghostly afterimage in the world. In the days of Conria, people believed they could be used to bridge the gap between... In short, I can open a passage to that space for you. That's the catch, is I'll need to stay on this side to keep the passage open. So I won't be able to come with you. Once you're inside, very well. Then I'll open...
Traveler, spare me a little more moonlight if you would. Thank you. I feel like I've recovered some of my strength now. It should be enough to move us across short distances, and...
Mistress of the seven hues of ages past, great mother of the present, crimson-clad sovereign of the two realms, by fire severed, by fire renewed, I offer myself now and beseech your descent. One word of advice, as you're crossing over, no matter what voice it...
Light!
I sense a sinister gloom inside, but also the familiar light of the moon. I feel that I'm about to meet an old friend who has changed beyond all recognition. What a tragic sight. Fragments of your broken body, seized by the abyss, and hung up aloft like mummified remains. Iridescent moon. Was this truly...
Careful! There's something spooky about this place. Feels like something is lured. I'm outside behind you. real? That's way too high!
No. I'm not sensing anything. It's coming from under the mountain.
Let's see. Ah! There's some kind of weird shadow over the water! Wait, see that? Looks like a mechanism of some sort.
Felindis, we'll leave the rest of the research in your hands. We'll be heading back now.
I hope this isn't ruining date night. Mind your own business. Just leave me some snacks on the table.
Felindis? Is that Rear's girlfriend? How come we're hearing her voice here? Oh yeah. So, do you think she was studying
The Abyss has made this space extremely unstable. Maybe that's why some of the things she said and did were preserved here, like echoes.
Whenever I see this view, it takes me back to a poem from my childhood. Waning moon, oh lifeless damsel, weeping on the mountain crest. For me, of all people, to be here investigating the mysteries of Crimson Moon space. So the moon marrow, or rather the power of the 3 moons, is the key. If it really does exist, then maybe this madness can finally be put... With the Abyss inhibitors in place, I should be able to access the chamber with the moon marrow. Oh, Rerir, with every step you take, you're drifting further from what you truly desire. But you're not the root of the problem. Ever since that outsider set foot in Conria, if only I could get my hands on that up.
reflection is back to normal. Felindis' voice mentioned a chamber with the moon marrow. Do you think maybe it's hidden in the moon's...
It must be. For within it, I sense the fragile aura of a...
Then there's no time to lose! Let's go! Looks like we'll have to destroy them.